Oh, God. Sorry, I'm having a rough day. I had like a headache on and off all friggin' day. But I realized when I was watching Pierre this morning, and it's probably because he's droning on, drives me nuts. But I didn't realize that he announced his plans to bring about a three-strike rule. Um, Now I know there's going to be people that are going to be arguing in the comments that are going to tell me, well, what's wrong with the three-strike rule? We should get tougher on crime. But the thing is that the three-strike rule is something that is existing in the United States right now. And it's not a good thing because it is always used against marginalized communities, specifically people of color, especially Black people, um, as a way to basically fuck people over. Um, and so most of the time it's supposed to be used in the case of extreme situations, right? Like murder, rape, that sort of thing. But the problem is that because crime is such a sort of gray area and there's such a bias towards people of color, a lot of times the three strikes laws are used against people that didn't commit a heinous crime. For example, you could have somebody at 18 years old that knocks a kid down in their school and steals their brand new Nikes because they're poor and they're not in a great situation and they act out. So there's strike number one. They go to jail for the theft, for the assault. They get out so many years later, and while they're out, they knock over, they steal a jacket from a store. And as they get caught, they go running out of a store, knock over the clerk. There you go, theft and assault again. Obviously, these crimes are not awful, right? I mean, they're not great, but they're not heinous. So, go to jail. Time passes. Let's happen that 21. Years go by. They get out of jail. Years go by. They keep their nose clean. And one day they're at a bar minding their business. They're in their 40s, let's say. Somebody starts a fight with them. And as they're attempting to calm things down and whatever, they accidentally hit the person in the face. They're trying to defend themselves, they hit the person in the face. There's your third strike for assault. Now this person is going to jail, even though they were just trying to defend themselves. But the judge doesn't see it that way. You've got a past with assault. So now this person ends up going to jail for with the three strike law and for an extreme amount of time when it's not justified. Now, I have no problem with violent criminals being sentenced the way they should be. As I'm telling you right now, there are a lot of people that murder their children, their partners, that people that rape, that fucking do not get the sentences that they deserve. Of course, a lot of times they're also white. But with the three strike laws, they are used against marginalized communities. They are used against the people that are most vulnerable in this world. And it also, a lot of times, is used against drug addicts. People that are caught, using. They will turn those, you get caught once using, off to jail you go, you get caught using again, off to jail you go, get caught using third time. Addicts are addicts for a reason. They can't just stop. And just because you put them in jail and don't give them proper rehab, and even then, if you do, people relapse. Again, three strike laws can be used against those people. You're not dealers, okay? You've got people that live in poverty. They're doing what they can to get out of poverty. A lot of people will turn to things like schmeck's work and dealing. And three strike laws can be used against them as well. Now, in Canada, thankfully, schmeck's work is technically, because of the Nordic model, not illegal. But clientele are, and helping anybody is. Even just renting a house from somebody could get you in trouble. If you do schmeck's work, could get them in trouble. There are so many ways that three strike laws do not work in the way that you want them to. And frankly, they're not a deterrent, because what happens is you get somebody who's a violent offender. They go away to jail. They don't go to jail for a very long time. They get out. They offend again. They go to jail. They don't stay there for life. Third time around, well, now they know the 3-strike law works. So if they're, let's say they're a rapist and they've been caught twice before. Well, why would they leave their victim alive? Now they've got the chance of going to jail for life. So you've now turned somebody who was, at least leaving people alive into a murderer. Or you have a situation where somebody takes hostages or the police are tracking them down. How do you know that they're not going to mow down a bunch of people because they figure, well, if I'm going to go to jail for life, I might as well take a whole bunch of people. I might as well go to the extreme. It's not a deterrent. It has never been a deterrent. Bill Clinton said it was the worst thing that he did and wish he hadn't. It is not a deterrent, and it is only used against marginalized communities. And Pierre Poilievre, despite all the bullshit and lies that he talks about how he wants to clean up Canada and help all these drug addicts and everything else, it's bullshit. And the other thing is, too, and I touched on it in another video when I was babbling about him going on about violent crime and stuff, is where do you put all these violent offenders? That's how it's happening in the United States. They don't have enough room for everyone. Even with all of the private prison systems and such that they have, they don't have enough room. Because they just keep putting people away after way after way with way. And then once you hit that third time, well, they're not leaving jail. So you're not having people go out. So you have all these 3-strike people that are never going to leave. So in Canada, now we don't have private for-profit prisons. But how long before we do, if Pierre Poilievre gets in power and decides to start, putting more people in jail, especially drug addicts and dealers and such. So as much as to the average person, it sounds great, because what's wrong with cleaning up crime? There's nothing wrong with cleaning up crime, but you have to go about it the right way. And you certainly cannot use it to target people that are the most vulnerable. Like, the system is just set up to fuck over the poor, right? It is set up to fuck over those that are, just trying to stay alive, and bringing in harsher sentences, taking away the judge's ability to make decisions of their own when it comes to sentencing and so on and so forth. It's not going to help things. It's not. It's not a deterrent. It's not going to stop people from committing crimes. It's going to make put more people in jail for lesser crimes than it will be for the bigger crimes. Because the system is just, it's fucking fucked. It's racist. It's set up to screw over poor people. If you're rich and white, you're really not going to have to worry too much about going to jail. I mean, look how many fucking people have we seen that are rich, white, commit heinous crimes and fucking do not go away for, and get painted like goddamn, family men, saints or whatever in the news. So, like I said, this is not a good system. And I know the PP supporters, the hardcore conservatives, they're not going to listen to me. They don't give a shit. They're already fucking racist to begin with, right? And they don't like poor people. They don't want anything that, as far as they're concerned, they want all the homeless people locked up. They want all the drug addicts locked up. They want all, But this conversation, this information is more for people that are open-minded, that are in the middle, that just don't understand what the implications are behind a 3-strike system and mandatory sentencing. Not to mention the fact that legally he shouldn't be able to do any of this. He would have to invoke the notwithstanding clause because it goes against the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Harper tried to do it back when he was in power and it was shut down. He was told no. So Pierre's just trying to do something that is basically unjustified and illegal. It's against people's rights in Canada. But he doesn't care. He will use the notwithstanding clause. He won't admit it, but he hasn't said that he won't either.